instant reaction to AEW Dynamite, and good night. Was this a hell of a show? AEW Dynamite, AEW in general, always kicks it off with a banger, whether it's a match or in this case, an extended promo, which I think is probably the longest promo in AEW history. I know they've only been around for, less than 3 years, I think it is. But still, we got to kick it off in Chicago. Chicago's favorite son, CM Punk, making his way down to the ring. He thinks he's going to take on our best friend, Cutie Marshall, but he does not. At least he does not in the first segment. MJF interrupts the match by coming out and doing his own promo segment with CM Punk, giving it back to CM Punk from last week, who interrupted him during a promo segment. And Tim, these two went after it. They jab after jab after jab, body blows, a little how's your father, a little hashtag never forget. I mean, good night. What did you think of all this stuff? Because I thought it was incredible.
I loved all of this, man. Just some of the lines in there about, hitting at Cena, hinting at Triple H, just
bringing up the UFC stuff, bringing up how MJF has a poster of CM Punk. I mean,
calling him a less famous Miz, right?
Oh my
all of that's
goodness.
Great. All of it's great.
Yeah. And it's so good that I feel like we could just do a podcast about that promo. But the thing that I like the most about the promo is it delivered on our expectations, at least for me. Now, maybe, obviously the internet is always going to have someone who's like, well, they could have been shorter, whatever.
Yeah,
right?
whatever. Right.
But we talked about, oh my God, CM Punk is in AEW. What are some dream matches? And we named, the people and things like that. But one of the things that we said was, can you imagine a promo of MJF versus CM Punk? And I think it kind of got into this stratosphere of like, it can't live up to our expectations. And this one knocked it out of the park. And here's the fun thing to consider. This is the first week, right? We don't know when this match is going to happen. Could happen next week. I don't think it will, but we don't have a date of MJF versus CM Punk. So this could go on for a month. Could go on for 6 weeks. We have no idea. But this was only week 1, and they're at this bar right here. I can only imagine what they're going to say in the coming weeks on, their own social media accounts or on Dynamite or on the YouTube channels or YouTube shows that they have. It was incredible. But where do you think we go from here? So that was the promo segment. After the segment, we did get the match of Cutie Marshall versus CM Punk. CM Punk gets the victory, but we're obviously focused on, well, he couldn't do it tonight because of scheduling. He wrestled, right? Like, it made sense.
Yeah,
hey,
I know. Yeah, he's begging, though.
Yeah, but by the way, we know they're watching. Thank you so much to Thunder Rosa for liking a tweet while we were doing the live tweet on @TableShow on Twitter.
Cheers.
So thank you so much, Thunder Rosa, one of our favorites. But yeah, so yeah. Cutie Marshall and CM Punk had their match, but the story is MJF, CM Punk. And again, with a new promotion and new creative forces behind the scenes, we don't necessarily know where we're going to go. But before I give you my hot take, because I always like to do it, I wanted to give you, first off, we got a comment from Katie, the First Lady. Now she says, hey, can't stay long, getting ready for Thanksgiving, which thank you so much for taking the time to join us. But just wanted to give quick thoughts. Again, this is from Katie, the First Lady. Survivor Series can suck an egg. I like the pun there. CM Punk and MJF was straight fire. Happy Thanksgiving. And Katie, happy Thanksgiving to you. Thank you so much again for taking the time to talk to us. Kata's on the chat. Oh, so great to hear from him. Talk to him on Twitter, again, @TableShow during AEW Dynamite. But he did a happy Turkey Day, America. We're silly. Americans are just silly. I mean, what are we doing, right? It's a weird holiday. Again, the promo segment, out of this world amazing. I think where we're going to go, and I'm a little nervous because I think we kind of just did it already, and I don't think we need to go to the well too often, but I think we might do the MJF says, CM Punk, you want a piece of me? You've got to earn it, right? You've just been doing this little, holiday tour of Don't We Love CM Punk, I'm going to make you go through Shawn Spears. I'm going to make you go through Wardlow. I don't think it's going to be like the 5 labors of Jericho type of thing, but I don't think right off the bat it's going to be MJF CM Punk. I think this is where we might get Wardlow versus CM Punk, which, again, breaking kayfabe here for a second. If you recall, on Tony Khan's sheet that was unfortunately leaked by that photo, it had Wardlow versus Punk. And I think that's still the plan. And so I wouldn't be shocked if this is where the dissension between MJF and Wardlow comes in, where MJF is like, oh, Punk, you want a piece of me? Piece of me? You're going up against Wardlow. And Wardlow's like, what? Again? Like, I had to fight Jericho. Now I got to fight this guy? Fuck it. All right, fine. And then we're going to get some dissension between those two. Eventually, I think CM Punk does beat Wardlow, and then we get to MJF. But that's where my crystal ball, that is what my crystal ball is saying right now.
All right, I'm excited for that. We can get it.
Yeah. So that was the first segment. Again, awesome segment. We got into the match. A little criticism, I will say, about the Cutie Marshall CM Punk match. For as great of a promo segment as that was between Punk and MJF, I was expecting that CM Punk would be pissed, right? He would be a man on fire, a man on a mission to prove a point to MJF that he isn't this gray-haired has-been, that he can still go with anyone, right? I would have had him run through Marshall, right? Just been like, this guy's not on my level. You think I'm struggling with these opponents? Watch this. And he didn't, right? Cutie Marshall got some offense in. Jim Ross even said, like, this wasn't the best outing from CM Punk. So maybe that's the story we're getting a little bit from this feud. But if it was me, I would have had him just run through Cutie Marshall while MJF was maybe still on the stage, right? Just do a punch, go to sleep, 1, 2, 3. MJF's still up on the stage. He's staring him down. That's our match, right? Because Cutie Marshall getting buried, there's worse things in the world, right? No one's really that upset that happened.
Don't say that about our best friend.
You know what I'm getting at here. But after that,
I was rooting for Cutie so hard. I was like, Cutie, hit him with the cutie punch
bomb,
or whatever.
The cutie trip. The QT trip. He should do a sponsorship and have a trip
That could
move.
just be a drop toe hold.
Cutie, hit us up. We'll give you.
We got the ideas. We had your faction name lined up for you. We've got your finisher now. Cutie, we're taking you to the top.
Taking it
Get
on
here. We'll ask you Cinco Preguntas. Sorry, we can't make that happen. We keep screwing that up.
It happens. Holidays.
So
hey,
bad.
holiday season.
Yeah.
Hey, but after that match, we go backstage. We get Christian and Jurassic Express talking about how they're on a roll. They're killing it. And Christian was like, you know what you do when you're on a roll? You go after the best, essentially. I'm paraphrasing here. And he ends the segment with saying, like, it's my mission to make you guys the tag champs. And that's odd, right?
Yeah.
Because he's not a manager, right? He's not Tully. He's not Arn.
Yeah, you're not getting a contractual cut of the purse here.
He's not Matt Hardy, right? This isn't the Hardy family office.
Just likes young fellas.
But, and that's fine. It's 2021. Who cares? Going into 2022. But
yeah, unless it's like a Sandusky kind of a thing going on. They're a little older than Sandusky.
Yeah, they're all consenting adults. Don't
They are
judge
consenting
them for
adults. Well, I mean,
yeah.
are they coerced or are they consenting?
Well,
hey,
let's stay on
for
topic
us to
here.
decide.
Right, exactly. I think AEW has been doing an amazing job of not going to the pro wrestling tropes, right? Two friends are together. Well, then they leave each other. That means one has to turn on the other, right? Like the inner circle comes and goes. Like they work against American Top Team, but FTR then gets bought out by Andrade. Sammy Guevara is a TNT champion, right? But then they come back when they need to. So AEW doesn't do the whole gotta split them up. However, with this Christian and Jurassic Express, I still think we're going to get something that goes back to the Battle Royal when when Jungle Boy eliminated Christian and him just not getting over that. And something I think is going to happen between those two. I don't know what it is, but that's my gut feeling. And again, I just thought it was a weird motivation for someone, in the twilight of his career, even though he's doing amazing things, but he's not a young athlete here, to be focused on two other guys getting a tag team championship opportunity or becoming the tag team champs.
That struck me as odd a little bit too. I mean, I know they're buddies, but like,
yeah, right. It felt a little different.
Right.
Again, that makes me think we got something more than what we're telling the audience right now. After we got that, then we go to another backstage promo, the promo god, Eddie Kingston. And look here, I said it on Twitter. I'll say it on the podcast.
So
Death, taxes, and Eddie Kingston will always get interrupted in a backstage promo. Here it happened again. 2.0 and Daniel Garcia come out, and they get personal. They get real personal real quick. They bring up the Jon Moxley stuff. They talk about how Eddie should have been a better friend, because if he was, then Jon Moxley wouldn't be in this position. And then we get a melee. We get coffee in the face. And I thought it was a knife. I looked back again. It was actually a fork, but still, nonetheless, we get Eddie Kingston trying to kill the bastards with a fork.
yeah,
Good for
he
him.
was going for that fork. Those guys went from like pro wrestling fake holding Eddie Kingston back to like, dude, don't get the fork, dude, don't get the fork. Because like as Eddie Kingston's like trying to work, I'm going to kill the guy with a fork, he might accidentally hit the guy who's trying to fake hold him back, you know? So they know like, just please don't get the fork, Eddie. Please don't get the fork. Please don't get the fork. I loved it. And then he just like, all right, fine, I'm flipping this table over then.
I have some type of aggression.
So real. I loved it.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Excited for Friday night. Again, Black Friday, AEW Rampage. We get Daniel Garcia versus Eddie Kingston. Yeah, Eddie Kingston. I'm still, look, like I said, the MJF CM Punk promo, out of this world. Probably one of the best promos in AEW short history. Easily could be said, right? However, I still wish we were getting Eddie Kingston CM Punk. I thought we still had some more meat on the bone, as they say, and we could have told a little bit more of a story. But nonetheless, Eddie Kingston is obviously getting cheered, so let's make him a babyface. We don't need to make CM Punk getting booed because he hasn't hit all the towns yet. So we gotta have the whole country sing the song before we turn him heel. But I'm excited to see where Eddie Kingston goes from here. Yeah, I like it a lot. Now we get back into the ring. This is the biggest miss for me. And the only reason it's a miss is because of who the heels are in this program. But we get the Gun Club versus Bear Country. And the Gun Club essentially squashed Bear Country, which I thought was weird.
They really are pushing this Gun Club recently. They were on Rampage, you know, making him look a fool. And now, you know, I get Billy Gunn is a big dude. He's got all the muscles. He'd probably beat a lot of dudes up.
But here's again, I hate to criticize just to criticize is what I'm getting at. But, like, I don't want to see Billy Gunn. You know what I mean? Like, Sting is a different story. Sting was someone who was the pillar, and we can get into that conversation in a little bit, but the pillar of WCW. Billy Gunn was never, you know, in that position. So it's not like I'm clamoring for more Billy Gunn matches. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so if you're going to have Darby Allin and Sting go up against the Gun Club, I just wish it wasn't the Gun Club, right? Like 2.0 and Daniel Garcia versus Sting and Darby Allin. I'm into that, right? Like that's a fresh new matchup and some dynamics that would be fun. Gun Club, though, I think the kids, I call them kids, the tag team is fine. I think Billy Gunn looks exhausted.
His whole body looks exhausted from the supplements, right? They're supplementing his diet, right?
Yeah.
He's still on the WWE diet, even though he left WWE. So, you know, it takes its toll on a body, especially of a man of his age. I think he's like 87 years old. So, you know,
we don't fact check. We don't fact check, so it could be.
Cataclysmic in the chat says Bear Country cut a great promo on Dark, and I did not watch Dark this week. I don't know if you caught that. We'll have to go back and take a look at Bear Country cutting a great promo on Dark.
Well, so, and this is one of the things, again, going back to that Cutie Marshall CM Punk match, make that the squash match and give that time to Bear Country and Gun Club, because Gun Club should not be that far ahead of Bear Country. You know what I mean? So that should have been a more competitive matchup. And then Marshall and Punk, that can be the one where we just run through the person.
Yeah, I I don't get the gun club thing. I love the gun club in a different setting, right? If we're talking about, dark elevation or even on Dynamite in a different spot against a different person where he's trying to bring his boys up as a tag team, right? Like he's trying to push them that extra mile. Maybe they've got a little bit of problem of being young kids wanting to play video games or go out with the ladies or something. He's like, hey, focus, tag team championships, guys, right? And they're like, that's right, yeah, gun club, yeah, all the way, right? And then he's got to kind of refocus them. And a little story like that, you can go face or heel with that easy. I love that kind of thing. This here where like they are fighting Darby and maybe Sting. Is that what we're getting? Are we getting a gun club versus Darby and Sting? I'm done with the Darby and Sting tag team and kind of the relationship as a whole.
No. That's still fun. No? I still like that. Yeah, I still like that. I still like the dynamic. I still like how Sting's being used as a mentor for Darby Allin. I just think the Gun Club hasn't built up enough clout to be the team that runs through other teams. And then also, their attitude doesn't fit their persona, right? Remember, during the pandemic, the balding, the fatter of the brothers was the one that was going crazy, jumping up and down, becoming the crowd when there wasn't a crowd, right? Like that's him. I know he does some rapping on the side. He's a charismatic person. He's not this daunting, big muscle man who I'm going to come in and beat your ass. He's not that, right? Like that's not him. And that's how they're presenting him, at least how I feel like they're presenting him. And that just doesn't like do that with someone else.
Yeah, please.
And again,
I don't like it.
Billy Gunn, think you're great. I don't want you on Dynamite. If we've got the wingmen out there, Pretty Peter Avalon, JD Drake, Ryan Nemeth, if we got those guys not making Dynamite, but the Gun Club is, that's where we're messing up a little.
The Wingman and Pretty Peter.
Yes!
Come on.
A 2-on-1 match with JD Drake and Pretty Peter Avalon versus Darby Allin. I'm in for that. 1,000,000%.
I'm in for so many Wingman things, right? Nights out on the town, feuds with other groups, like just
Pinky's
love it all. Love it all.
And the story you could tell, again, you want a little bit of quick T-Mac story time. The story you could tell is Pretty Peter Avalon and Ryan Nemeth want to make over Darby and Sting. They think this clown show shouldn't be in a company like AEW. And there you go. That's their motivation. I want fresh matchups. I want new stars. I'm being a little bit of a stickler. Again, small criticism that I went a little bit long on, but nonetheless, it's our podcast. Next up, we get an announcement for Battle of the Belts, essentially a Clash of Champions, but now titled for AEW. What do you think of that?
Interesting, right? They're going with the whole Battle of the Belts thing, right? Like, it is a fun.
It's a Saturday night. It's going to be on TNT. It's a special, kind of feels like Clash of Champions back in the day. That WCW used to do, where you could call in and make your own matchups. Remember that? You could call a hotline and say, I want Sting and Ric Flair to take on Doom or whatever it was, So I like that aspect of a throwback to, when I was a kid. I just wonder how the matchups are going to be. Like, are they actually going to be for the championships? Because one thing AEW is doing, specifically with Britt Baker, and we're jumping ahead a little bit, is the whole beat the champion and then you get a championship opportunity. We didn't like that in WWE. And we've done that now twice with Britt Baker, with Abaddon and now Rio.
Like, this one kind of, like, for this, it's it was a Rumble match or whatever it was, right? She didn't get eliminated. So it's not necessarily that, like, she's the number one contender because she got eliminated. It's that, like, we should see, would she have beat you? And then she would have got the shot that you had, right? Like,
but then just make it for the championship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've seen before in days past where it was like, here's a non-title match, and if you beat the champion, they just never said it before. It was just by happenstance, the champion fought non-title matches sometimes as like exhibition matches, if you will. But gone are those kind of days, But maybe bring some of that back, right? Just be like, we see the champ wrestle, but it's not for the title other than if it's a special event, right?
Yeah.
It's always a non-title match on Dynamite. So, yeah, but you don't want to do that because you want people to think title's going to change hands. Yeah, just make it for the title. It's off. It's fake. It's made up.
Yeah, just make it for the title. Just say,
make it for the title, then they get screwed somehow building to the next match you want, right?
Definitely. Yeah. Tony Khan, the Friendsgiving, we're jumping ahead a little bit. We'll come back to the rest of the show here. But Tony Khan just says, hey, Britt Baker, don't really like how you're trying to get involved in the TBS tournament matches, helping out your homegirl there. So I'm going to make Rio, who never got eliminated from the Battle Royal, versus you for the championship. Happy Thanksgiving. Like, there you go. That's as easy as it can be, right? But like the beat the champion to then beat the champion to then beat the champion. It's like, what are we doing? We're just doing this until the right person wins? Like that. It's not Conor McGregor out here, for Christ's sake. Anyhow, I digress. After that, we get a really fun start to a feud. I don't know how long this is going to last. Could be just one match, but I like the genesis of it. It's Bobby Fish and Adam Cole talking about how they are the best friends. They are the best friends that two people could ever be. And then the best friends walk by and go like, you walked right past us. What the hell? And then, dude, we're the best friends. And so this is going to be fun, right? Yuta got just shit on by Bobby Fish. Like, what kind of name is Yuta? Which your name's Bobby Fish. Anyhow, Orange Cassidy gets some trivia where they ask, I think Chuck Taylor, what's Chuck Taylor's middle name, I think is how it went down. But Bobby Fish, Adam Cole versus best friends. I like this. What do you think?
Yeah, I like this too. I mean, it buys time for like Cole and some of these folks that are in the elite while the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega are healing. Apparently they're all banged up, beat up. If we're pulling back the curtain, right? And even not pulling back the curtain, they acknowledge it on camera and in character. So yeah, not bad. I mean, look, a good feud between some character-driven wrestlers here, right? Like Adam Cole, Bobby Fish aren't necessarily like huge character-driven gimmicks, but they are established characters in the pro wrestling world that we watch. And we're going up against the best friends-ish, right? That's kind of it's weird, man. I really like Trent and Chuck as the best friends, and I understand, like, I know when we did like Demolition and brought in like I don't want that for the best friends, but
this is a little bit more of like, hey, Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy need to be on our TV. Orange Cassidy just wouldn't tag with Chuck Taylor because again he doesn't try all the time, right? And then again, Yuta is their prodigy, so we got to get him some reps, and I understand. And Trent is obviously, breaking kayfabe, legit hurt, right? He had surgery, I think, on his neck, which is a very serious thing. So maybe he doesn't come back, and then we need new best friends, right? Like, I understand what they did, but yes, I agree to you with what you're saying. We don't need Crush in the best friends, you know? So we'll see how it goes. I just like the idea of like battling over who the true best friends are. We're going to beat you up because we're better friends than you two are better friends.
And Cataclysmic in the chat says, can't wait for Kyle O'Reilly to hook up with Cole and Fish in AEW. You think that's a given? You think that's going to happen?
I hope so. But here's the thing. Again, I'm not saying that the boat is full, but I'm saying that the boat is full. Like Johnny Gargano, again, we'll get to the news here later, but Johnny Gargano is rumored to be at the end of his contract.
Yep.
Where do you put him on a 2-hour show that has Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, Kenny Omega, our champion and our Lord and Savior, Hangman Adam Page, the god of promos, Eddie Kingston? Like, where does he fit in? You know what I mean?
Dark Order. I mean, there's so much. Yeah.
And God's favorite champion, Miro, we're just like, he wasn't on this week, right?
God's Forsaken champion.
Well, now he's Forsaken, but he was favorite. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, I know, and we will talk about Johnny Gargano in the news. But yeah, you're not wrong there. It's a lot of time. Yeah, but yes, I mean, Kyle O'Reilly. This is the problem I keep facing with some of this. Is yes, there's too many on AEW, but in the pro wrestling world right now, for me, with most of the names we're mentioning, when we're talking about Bray Wyatt, we're talking about Johnny Gargano, we're talking about
Kyle
O'Reilly. There's nowhere else they're going to go where I think they're going to be featured as well than AEW. I think AEW is doing the best things for almost everybody that they put out there than I've seen anywhere else. I think Impact Wrestling wants to be dark and mysterious and weird. And I think, NJPW is just, look, there's a language barrier. There's always going to be that for American television. MLW is similar in that nature where like they're kind of trying to be dark, but it's weird, so I just don't know that like I wouldn't want him to go anywhere else. So it's real weird. If AEW can grow, I saw somebody on Twitter somewhere or something mention them possibly doing multiple brands or something. Like, I don't know what to do, man. No. Too many people are just now seeing the freedoms that AEW will allow them. And so here's the thing. Maybe a third promotion will emerge or will, rise from one of these groups that might be able to mimic some of the things AEW is doing for character work.
If I had the lay of the land and I could put the pieces where I want them to go, this is where I think the opportunity for New Japan Pro Wrestling's U.S. show to expand and do their thing, right? Put on Brody King, put on Johnny Gargano, put on Kyle O'Reilly, and then you have the NJPW US show, and then they can go over to Wrestle Kingdom and you get Kyle O'Reilly versus Ibushi or whatever it is, and isn't this the great? It is. It's fine, but like, you're not messing with my baby, right? My baby's AEW. I don't want you to touch it, right? Like, it's my baby. I'm holding my baby. I just stop adding to it. And I even forgot about Bray Wyatt. Yeah, I don't want him there. I mean, I do, but I don't.
This is not in the news because I didn't think about putting this in the news because it feels weird, right? But his first event has been booked, but it's like a signing in March. And I'm like, well, he's not going to show up first time anywhere at a signing, right? So I think we're at least getting a Bray Wyatt debut somewhere prior to March. We can't even call him Bray Wyatt, right? We're talking Wyndham Rotunda somewhere.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm probably wrong. It's going to be great. I'm going to freak out. I'm going to come on the podcast and tell you, this is the best thing in the world. Right now, though, day before Thanksgiving, 2021, I don't want them.
Change is worrisome.
Yeah, it's just, you're going to take away from 2.0. You're going to take away from Penelope Ford. You're going to take away from Thunder Rosa.
2.0 got 2 spots.
Well, but when was the last time you saw him before that? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Anyhow, let's get back to the show. In what I thought was the surprise of the night, we had a backstage contract signing. Team Taz, Dante Martin, and Leo Rush. Dante Martin says, "No, I'm Team Taz. Let me get some of those chips, Hook." Well, the thing with Dante Martin is he's so vanilla. Again, his in-ring work is incredible, but as a character, I don't know what he sounds like still. I don't know his thoughts or feelings on any really thing except for I can wrestle really well, right? And who the fuck cares about that? So we can mold him into whatever, right? He could be a kind of cool, mysterious Hook where he just stands behind Hobbs and has chips too, right? Hook and Dante Martin are just feeding each other chips behind Hobbs's back, and Ricky Starks is cutting the promo, right. And Taz is just being disgruntled because he always is, right? So we can make him whatever he wants. Or we can make him whatever we want him to be. So I like the addition. Now, I know we talked about how, we can see the writing on the wall. Because again, pro wrestling tropes, Team Taz is going to grab Dante Martin's brother, and it's going to be brother versus brother with the returning brother being on Team Taz. Well, now we might get the role reversal where Leo Rush is like, hey, Dante Martin, thought you were great. Obviously, you're an idiot. Your brother's the smart one. I got him. And then they get that tag team. And then you do Ricky Starks, Dante Martin versus other top flight guy and Leo Rush. Maybe that happens.
Yeah, it was interesting. It wasn't the way we were expecting, right? Because you have a heelish manager. They're doing the storyline where we all think like, Stockholm Syndrome maybe coming with Dante Martin or something here. The brother comes back and he, whatever. And maybe this kind of different way of doing it here might lead to, like you're saying, the brother comes back now, and instead of being the heel joining Team Taz, he's like, Leo brings him in, right? Like, oh yeah, you guys think you pulled one over on me? Well, guess what? I can make connections too. I got calls.
Right. And going down the road post this storyline, assuming Dante Martin stays in Team Taz, the team of Powerhouse Hobbs and Dante Martin, I mean, if there's any more fire and ice, air and strength, like that's the perfect team right there, right? Like, are you going to outfly Dante Martin? Nope. Are you going to push around Powerhouse Hobbs? Nope. So like that's a tag team waiting to be a champion sooner rather than later, I think. So again, that's down the road, I hope, but that's what I got excited for. More Ricky Starks. Also, that's another guy. Like if we're going back to the Wyndham Rotundas and Johnny Garganos and Kyle O'Reillys, I want more Ricky Starks. He's way more interesting to me than Kyle O'Reilly. I get that Kyle O'Reilly, Undisputed Era and all that stuff, but like Ricky Starks is who I'm tuning in for. Not so much Kyle O'Reilly. Anyhow, I digress. We go back into the show, and this is where you talked about 2.0. They bring up their head one more time from the water and poke out and say, hey, see that Chris Jericho's over there. So they swim over, doing a little ocean analogy here. And then they go, hey, Chris Jericho, fuck yourself. Bing bong. No. Have you seen that, by the way? The Coney Island?
Yes. Yeah.
Fucking life. Bing bong.
But, however, I mean, that is kind of what they said to Jericho.
Yeah, I mean, that's
yourself.
really what. Fuck yourself. Bing bong. Someone should have said bing bong tonight. Hopefully they say it on Friday. Eddie Kingston needs to be the one that says that, by the way. What are we going to get? Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho, old men forces, join up to take out 2.0? Like, typically, that's what you see is when two faces who don't know each other or, you know, what's the phrase? A friend of my friend is, or a friend of my enemy is my friend, or whatever the fuck it is.
The enemy of my enemy is a friend of mine.
Yeah, enemy of my, right, yeah, whatever the fuck it is. Words.
Whatever that fuck is. Whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about, though, right? God damn it.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting, right? Where does 2.0... Okay, so again, let's do another crystal ball segment with Tim here. 2.0, where are you putting them?
Man, I don't know. I like them, right? So you've got to elevate them in the tag team ranks, I would feel like, right? So maybe, you know, we get this kind of Fish and Cole versus what's the other team? Who are they going up against here? The Best Friends. The Best Friends. Yep. Find a way to win and keep kind of riding up the ranks, and we get 2.0 versus Best Friends, maybe?
Possibly. I was thinking if we're not going to do Eddie Kingston, Jericho, buddy cop movie kind of tag team here, I think possibly you just do Eddie Kingston, Daniel Garcia, we've got beef, old guy versus new guy. From New York, one's from Buffalo, one's from Yonkers, but still, you know, New York versus New York. And then you do 2.0 versus Les Sex Gods? Because who's challenging Sammy Guevara right now? Like, Sammy Guevara has this open door challenge. He beats Jay Lethal, credit to him, but, like, he doesn't have a feud. So maybe we do Les Sex Gods, Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara versus 2.0? I don't know.
That could be interesting. Yes, something. I don't, you know, maybe 2.0. Who's the tag champs right now, right? We've got some face tag champs. So maybe they go up for that. We get, you know, the Lucha Bros versus 2.0. We could get some good segments out of that.
Yeah, we'll talk about Lucha Bros here in just a moment. But as we get back into the action, we get the TBS Championship match. Jamie Hayter, Thunder Rosa. The wrong person won. I love Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa's great. Thunder Rosa should win every match. Thunder Rosa won this match. I want Thunder Rosa, Britt Baker. And that's me being a baby. I'm being a baby here. I want this. And if it's not this, then it's stupid. I know how I'm sounding. However, what's Britt Baker doing right now?
Nothing. I was going to bring that up. Like, the shtick is running out because there's not anybody to do it against.
Yeah, I mean, the top babyface, arguably, after Tay Conti lost to Britt Baker, is Ruby Soho, and she already beat her. So, like, Thunder Rosa has the win over Britt Baker. And I know it was an unsanctioned match, so it doesn't technically count, but we all have eyes. We all saw it, right? We all saw who won that lights out match. So they have the history. They drew the big number, right? The first women to main event a Dynamite were those two. This is an outdated reference, but like they are your Lita and Trish Stratus, right? Those are the two who you need to keep going with. And right now, I know Thunder Rosa advanced in this TBS championship, but it, you know, between me and you and the people listening, I still think that's Jade Cargill's title, right? Like I think she's the shoe-in for that championship. So, Thunder Rosa, Britt Baker, and then we get the fun. They're visually so different. Their personalities are so different. But when they fight each other, put that in the Louvre. You know what I mean?
So, Cataclysmic in the chat says, I thought Baker costing Thunder the tournament is what was going to be the reason for their title feud.
And that could still happen. Maybe I'm jumping the gun, right? Because Britt Baker ended up hitting Jamie Hayter, and maybe that's what we're getting first, right? Jamie Hayter wasn't at the Friendsgiving, remember?
True that.
She wasn't
She's
there.
Like, hey, listen.
Yeah, this is stupid.
You know, this arrangement is wearing thin fast.
Yeah, so maybe that's what we do. But yeah.
I thought I needed your help breaking back in, but I realized I'm better than you.
Mm-hmm. And you know it. Nah, no kidding. That's a good point, Kata, because yeah, she could still advance, get to the finals against Jade Cargill, and that's where Britt Baker is like, you painted face bitch, I'm costing you the match. Ha-ha! You know?
Oh, then that's even great because leading up to Jade Cargill versus Thunder Rosa is going to be great. She's going to be, you know, talking some shit, eating some tacos along the way, right? Mm-hmm. That's not race. That's her blog, by the way.
Yeah, she eats tacos
YouTube.
on her Well,
nobody knows about her YouTube show where she eats tacos. That sounded really racist. So I want to make sure.
Know what it is. Yeah, you should.
Yeah, everybody go check out Thunder Rosa's YouTube taco vlog. It's great. So her, Jade Cargill, Smart Mark Sterling's in there talking some smack. Love it. We're all gonna love that. And then the swerve is, here comes old DMD giving the gloved hand, giving her the old ovarian delight, and then Jade Cargill wins. We still get heel heat because even though she should have won by beating the shit out of somebody, she gets it because Dr. Britt Baker cheated and helped her get it. So we hate that. And then we get the title feud. Man, hire Tim and Tom.
Well, and Kata threw it in there too.
Kata. Yeah. Which he said would leave Hayter to go on to wrestle Jade in the tournament.
But Jade, she's out. She lost.
Oh yeah, out of the tournament, but after the tournament, maybe.
Oh yeah, after the tournament.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
She could say like, "Hey, I'm the one.
I'm the one.
I'm the one."
Bloodline. AEW. Hire Table Nation right here. Look at us. The community here. We know how to book this shit.
Well, that's why you should hire us, because we draw from the community. We understand what the folks want. We got our ear to them screets.
You know what I'm saying? Come on.
I don't think anybody does know what we're saying.
Nah, we know what we're saying. Hey, the next matchup after Friendsgiving, which we already talked about, so we'll move on to Bryan Danielson and Colt Cabana. This was fun. Speaking about Britt Baker, good thing we have her on the roster, because Bryan Danielson kicked a tooth out of Colt Cabana's mouth in this matchup. Jesus Christ.
And then in his post-match shit-talking promo, just is like, "Hey, I've got it. I might give it to him or not. Fuck that guy." Loved it.
Yeah, this match did what it was supposed to, right? Like, if you just went off of 1 week of heel heat for Bryan Danielson, you could excuse it by saying, well, that was in Hangman's home state, that they're going to love him no matter who it was on the other side. So we have to continue, like, no, we want to not like Bryan Danielson. So this did what we were wanting it to do. Hangman coming out. The subtleties, again, are just, this is, such great storytelling. Because it now feels like you have the bull, Hangman Adam Page, the champion, but the matador is Bryan Danielson with the red flag. Because if you recall last week, he's like, oh, this guy's not even ready to fight. After I won the championship, I fought the next day, And so now Hangman follows what he says there, comes ready to fight, and Bryan Danielson's like, no, we are not doing that. And so it just feels like, like he's just doing the little Olay every time Hangman says, like, I'll fight you now. And he's like, no. And then he's like, fight me now. And he's like, Hangman's like, I'm not ready. Hold on. And then he's like, nah, it's too late. And it's just this is a cool dynamic of Bryan Danielson being the veteran saying, like, cool, man, you're the champ. I'm the best in the world.
Yeah, I do like how, they're just kind of doing you got to be quicker than that, right? Just kind of dangling the carrot a little bit. But you can only do that so long before that starts to sour on folks, right?
Well, but we want to boo Bryan Danielson. If he's the one that's leading it, right? If it becomes hey, Hangman, fight me tonight. Oh, I'm not ready. Then you might be like, well, what the hell are we doing? We're just not scheduling this correctly. Like, that's stupid. But if we're doing the Bryan Danielson holds all the power and he makes the champion jump when, he says how high, like that, it would be fun. This was great. Love Hangman. Need more Hangman in my life. That was too short of a segment. Felt like, again, what this episode's going to be remembered for is the CM Punk MJF promo, and it should be, but our champion.
They did a solid set of promos there, back and forth, even following that one that you're mentioning.
Right. But what I'm getting at here is, like, our champion is still Hangman Adam Page. We don't need to turn this into the summer of Punk when Punk was our champion, but John Cena's main eventing against, whoever it was, Brock Lesnar or whatever. Like, we need to, like, Hangman. Hangman's our guy. Guns up.
Guns up.
All right.
Put the guns down, America.
Well, but get them up to do cowboy shit. You know what I mean? It's a figurative gun. It's not an actual gun. Yeah.
Finger guns up.
It's a mentality, Tim. It's a mentality. It's not an actual
I know.
weapon.
That's the problem. All right. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough of that.
So let's get into the main event. We had just a clusterfuck of amazing talent here. We had the Lucha Bros, or essentially we had Death Triangle plus Cody taking on FTR, Malachi Black, and Andrade. The moment of the night, though, was Cody puts out his belt to the crowd. Hey, isn't that great? Not instant. Couple minutes into the match, guys like, you know what? Fuck this belt.
Yeah. he got the delayed Cena shirt treatment.
Yeah, and damn near hit Aubrey Edwards upside the head with the fucking belt. And those things aren't light.
Oh, yeah, no. No, that stuff is like a good couple pounds of thick leather, man.
Yeah, and she got pissed. Did you see that? She mule kicked the fuck out of that belt and said, "Get the fuck out of here!"
Don't take no shit. That's not just a gimmick. I feel like that's
that was
in real life. She's probably
moment.
like, "Bitch, don't say that shit to me."
Yeah, and so then Andrade grabs the belt, throws it under the ring. Then you get Cody looking to Pentagon and going. I think you could see it where he goes, "What the fuck was that?" So, again, I don't understand right now the Cody hate, like, to that level, because he's not the champion. He's not the John Cena push. He's not.
Man,
he's just not.
I didn't understand the whatever those weird, whatever that fucking social media craze where everybody would be like sitting there doing nothing and all of a sudden they'd be doing a weird ass fucking dance. Remember?
Oh, the Harlem Shake.
The Harlem Shake. I never understood that either, but sometimes the cool thing to do is the cool thing to do because it's the cool thing to do.
Yeah, but this just feels like we're being dickheads. This feels like a collective dickhead thing.
We know all about being dickheads. You know what I mean?
Well, trust me. Yeah.
Sometimes you just like, because I want to fuck with somebody and he's the guy. Look at him. There's a lot of people like Cody Rhodes, for what it's worth, essentially has a punchable face, right? Like, so if you want to boo at a guy who's got a punchable face, he's the guy in AEW.
You sound like Rob Riggle in Step Brothers when he's looking at Will Ferrell and they're just like, your face, I just want to...
Just like, for whatever reason, it's like, hey, like, you're a nice guy, you say nice things, you've done all this work for so many people, you've got a great show and everything, but goddamn, like, I want to boo somebody and look at you. Boo!
Yeah. And then if you go back to that scene in Step Brothers when Rob Riggle's like, you just have a punchable face. I just want to hit it. And then Will Ferrell goes, is there anything I can do that would help this? He's like, no.
No. And that's exactly what's happening here. Cody, they're doing a great job of on character mimicking real life because on character, in character and in real life, Cody Rhodes seems to be like, what am I doing wrong? Like, why are you mad at me? What did I do? It's so fun. I love it.
So it was a fun time as a viewer. Again, I don't
hate him. I haven't booed him, but I just feel like I want people to keep doing it now because I love watching the train wreck. It's so fun.
Oh, that's fun. Boom for the fuck of it. That's what should be the title
of it.
Yeah. So the finish comes with Andrade getting the pin over Pac. We did have a moment of dissension with Cody missing a super kick, hitting Pac in the face. That wasn't what determined the finish, but again, Pac ended up taking the pinfall. We had the heels standing tall to end the episode of Dynamite. And again, this episode, it was just so much fun.
So fun.
As I mentioned, I think the moment of the night, what this will be remembered for, MJF versus CM Punk promo battle that should have been an Iron Man match. Right? Let's do that next time. An Iron Man match with no fucking wrestling. It's just promos. You're just battling with promos.
Tom, okay, I'm glad you said that. I've discussed this recently at work, and I want to ask you, we're going to live shop this right now on air. I have discussed... and I fully believe that if you turn on the camera and said, talk, doesn't matter about what.
Mm-hmm.
Talk.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
I could do it. Mm-hmm. Nonstop. All day. Yep. Keep going. If you give me water, right? Like, so let's say you and I were to do like a 24-hour telethon or something, right? We're just going to talk about wrestling.
Got it.
Nothing's off the table.
Got it.
Just turn on this live stream. We're going. One of us may have to go to the bathroom, maybe grab a quick bite to eat or something.
I'm gonna take the camera with me to the bathroom. I might do it from the toilet. Just sit on the toilet for 24 hours.
But
this is what happens.
The talking portion and finding something to say about something, I don't think I could stop. I could go for more than 24 hours.
Look, if there's one thing about me that I know about me, it's I love me some me. You know what I mean?
We could I know wrestling is wrestling and people are tuning in and they want to see wrestling, but let's maybe do this as a YouTube special. And let's get an Iron Man promo match.
Yep.
Let the fans vote on it.
Oh, I was going to say you get 5 judges.
CM Punk?
You get 5 judges. You get 5
judges. You can do a fan vote as the 5th judge or something. How about that? You get one executive, Tony Khan or some executive, right? It could be Arn Anderson or Tully Blanchard. Yeah, right. Jim
some
Ross.
non-wrestler. Yeah, some non-wrestler TV talent. You get 3 wrestlers, and then you get the 5th is the fans. You do a promo battle, and we determine the winner with the 5 judges. Let's do it.
Yep. Yeah.
And MJF and Punk can do that.
Oh my God, yeah.
I feel like, you know what I mean?
Oh, especially if they knew it was coming up. Easy.
Oh,
Easy.
yeah. They got notes and all the fun stuff. Let's do it. God bless America, though. This was so much fun. And I'm so glad that we did an instant reaction to this specific episode because it had some fire. But
AEW Dynamite. We've talked this, I've seen somebody say, how is every episode of AEW Dynamite the best?
Yeah, that guy.
I don't necessarily believe that. But so, the line is trending up, and so many of these just feel like a party. It feels like you went to a rock concert. I just love it. It's a great time.
The biggest difference, and I know we're going to transition to hashtag tweet the table and hear from you, which a lot of it's Survivor Series, but the biggest difference for me is
much of it is Survivor Series. Anyway,
and that's fine.
Yeah, of course.
That's fine.
This is what you want to talk about, and we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, if you want to talk about it, we're going to talk to you about it. But the biggest difference between the two shows is WWE does a TV show and they have a live studio audience. Like it's fucking Everybody Loves Raymond. AEW does a pro wrestling show and by the way, it's on TV. And when it's that way, I want to be there.
Yes, and WWE used to be that way, man.
Oh, with all the million signs because they wanted to be seen because they knew they were going to be seen.
That's the thing I miss about the Attitude Era is it felt like I was going to a wrestling show that was just
it felt like chaos. It felt like
Right.
the thing to be at. And so that's what I like the most is it was
Cataclysmic in the chat says the party atmosphere for AEW plays such a big part to me.
Yes, that's the thing.